Let's start with the Grand Prix winner. I hope this wasn't controversial in any shape or form. I think the most important thing just to highlight immediately is that the jury were really looking for very strong business results. I think we have reached a stage in our industry where we absolutely understand the pressures and the headwinds from clients, and we really appreciate with the point and the reality that marketing has to drive growth. It has to deliver tangible business results. Otherwise it just becomes creativity for creativity's sake or a waste of cash. And no one has cash to waste these days. So when we were looking at Jet.com and the whole innovating saving case study, what struck us was that not only was it so on brand in terms of the marketing communications really displaying the personality of the Jet.com brand, which is phenomenal because then you get differentiation through media, but also very, very tangible business metrics at the end of that case study. Because, you know, we went through about 3,000 initially case studies and then whittled down to 290. So obviously then wanting to get to the top creme de la creme, but the 290 is like the top 10%. And I was still astonished by the fact that a lot of entries didn't have tangible business metrics on their case study entry, which I think is criminal in today's world. So the excellent thing about this case study is it's a wonderful example of marketing that has helped drive brand growth. They've got a different business model. It's a subscription e-tailer. It has gone from zero to hero in like 12 months. It was acquired by Walmart for over $3 billion. It is an amazing, it's a phenomenal brand story. And what's so great about this case study is they leveraged marketing in such a disruptive way, particularly search and social, to get to such an awareness level that you probably would have had to pay something like $100 million for. And they paid a fraction of that, and they managed to almost overtake the Super Bowl and crash through all of the noise of the Super Bowl by actually being very tongue-in-cheek, we would say, you know, really bringing the sense of humor of the brand to the fore. So we really thought that that was a very strong case study. We also really liked this calculator that they did with Facebook, a kind of pun on the word calculator, whereby they were using and scraping Facebook data to ascertain who, you know, your real friends were as opposed to your fake friends, and actually change, well, allowed that to inform how much money you spent on people depending on how much they actually cared about you and loved you, which we just thought, again, very humorous take, but phenomenal leverage of data and technology to be able to do something different on obviously such a massive platform. So, you know, all round an excellent case study. Now on to one of our gold award winners, Fearless Girl. Really, you'd expect me to say this because I'm a female industry leader, but you know, this is a phenomenal campaign, and I'm sure you have seen it pop up on other tours already. Obviously, what we liked about this was the amplification of one single stunt. I don't really want to call it a stunt because it is more of a global phenomenon, obviously, than a stunt. But just the amplification of one simple idea was incredible, and we all know how it's very difficult to create a global phenomenon in today's cluttered world. So we thought we really do have to recognize the fact that, you know, the level of earned media coverage is astonishing and almost groundbreaking. So and it helps obviously change society, change the conversation, and that is what we want marketing communications to do. So I know that obviously with Jet.com we focus very much on actual business metrics and, you know, how many sales subscriptions have been delivered back to the company. With this particular case, it was all about the earned reach, and the earned reach actually starting a global conversation that we think is obviously going to run and run for years to come. Okay. And on to pedigree from our friends in New Zealand. A lot of entries actually from Australia and New Zealand. A lot of good work. The breadth and depth of work coming out of that region is great. This we thought was phenomenally humorous, very, very humorous, and really picked up on one central idea, again, activating it across multi-platforms. But the sort of genius of the idea was also tapping into a serious issue. You know, people do, parents feel the empty nest syndrome, and therefore we felt it was really picking up on an emotional connection, which again is very important in marketing communications, to be able to do that and to do that properly. But the way that it was amplified and activated through loads and loads of different creative treatments as well, which were completely on message but incredibly funny. And when we were looking at the body of work, we were thinking, how do you really get to the sweet spot of differentiation? Well, there are many ways that you can do that, but using humor is actually potentially sometimes under-leveraged. We were just talking actually, Burger King obviously do it very well, some other brands do it really well, but being able to, especially in today's society when everything's getting a little bit scary and a little bit serious, to be able to be truly funny in whatever country you're in, because it's not necessary. Sometimes humor travels, sometimes it doesn't. We thought this was particularly on message, and very on message for pedigree. So it's an activation of a core idea for pedigree, and it's difficult to make dog food humorous. So it's an extension of the company's ambition to raise more importance of actually owning a dog, and the fact that a dog is not just for Christmas, it can emotionally contribute and change your life. Equal TV, we thought this was very, very interesting and an absolute excellent case, done in the Dominican Republic and done on International Women's Day. So, still quite stunty, but very, very intelligent and potentially hard to pull off. The thing that we were trying to recognize here was that, to actually draw attention to the fact that women still don't have equal pay, etc., and equal rights. The female presenter was kind of locked out of screen for the great part of that day. Again, kind of stunty, but my God, does it completely, dimensionalize the message in a very stark way. You'd be watching television and you would be wondering what the hell was going on. And also to actually get maybe a star newscaster to also agree to that, I think is, a wonderful idea, and obviously incredibly poignant on International Women's Day, and really drawing attention to the fact that, come on, surely we have reached a stage where women should demand and be given equality. I know that's not easy in every country, but I think we really wanted to send a signal from the jury to say this was, an excellent thing to do. I think we'll probably see more of it. So on each International Women's Day, maybe across the world, it might inspire more creativity, but to try and negotiate that with the broadcaster is probably not an easy thing to do. So, huge respect. And also we, like to award great work from other countries, other than UK and USA. So fantastic to get such a high standard of creativity from Dominican Republic. On to Age UK. This actually comes from my network, so I'm very pleased with the guys in the UK doing this excellent work. It wasn't eligible for a Grand Prix because it's non-for-profit, but picks up really on an issue in the UK. It's prevalent in other countries, but it's particularly prevalent in the UK at the moment, and that's elderly loneliness. And here what was really interesting was to create a data scrape on people's feelings and create a loneliness index, so that actually that could drive the placement and the nature of activity going forward. Data-driven media planning is the sweet spot of what we should all be doing within media companies at the moment, media creative, and being able to tweak creative treatments on the back of that data, hugely important, and the whole in-flight optimization. But the fact that it was really raising awareness, a lot of people didn't even know that there was such a chronic loneliness issue in our own country, in the UK. So it really drew attention. A lot of people empathized with it, signed up a huge amount of volunteers to just talk to people, because one conversation with one elderly person living alone can actually change their life. So we really thought that should be recognized as a body of great work that really would not have happened if it hadn't been for the excellent data-driven media planning. This was really quite excellent, incredibly cheeky, and so simple in its execution. To be designing stickers to the right size and format of your key competitors so that they could actually use a specific toll-free booth that was designed and well branded by BMW was a phenomenal idea. So it actually had Audi owners and Mercedes owners and a series of competitive owners wanting to use the BMW stickers so that they could go through this toll-free booth. And I think the thing that was so great about this campaign is, again, data capture. So they listened to the conversations that were going on. They realized that lots of Audi and Mercedes owners were jealous of the BMW owners who were not paying the toll, because if anyone's been to Moscow, the traffic is ridiculous. It's worse than London and Mumbai. It's crazy. So the toll-free BMW channel was really wanted. It was something that would actually save you time. So it was highly demanded. Therefore, they got Audi, Mercedes, etc. owners to demand the stickers to then place on their logos so that they could go through this toll booth. So, really such a simple idea, but just incredibly cheeky, and really you could see the behavior shift, because when you are into a Mercedes or into an Audi or whatever, you've got a lot of brand love. So to get people out of that brand love and to actually put another car logo on your car is quite a big deal. So that's media changing and influencing behavior. This was very, very funny from our friends in Dubai. For Careem, obviously huge competitor to Uber, and stunts are hard to pull off, but we thought this was quite epic. So and again, what was interesting was the humor and the brand personality of Careem coming through this idea. A lot of people want to be a humorous disruptor. So they launched, obviously not a real person. We thought maybe it was a real person, but that would have been probably less funny. And they jettisoned him out. And the whole video went completely viral. And the shared earned media on that particular video was phenomenal. And the fact that you pay it off with, you can get around easier using Careem rather than jettisoning people out, on a slingshot, was just, again, so simple, but had amazing virality, amazing conversations behind it, and very, very good metrics. So they not only had earned reach in terms of millions of dollars on earned media, but they also obviously could watch all of the subscriptions on Careem. So there was business success as a result of all of those earned media metrics, because we know how sometimes earned media metrics don't actually translate to sales, subscriptions, purchases, etc. Whereas in this case, you've got a phenomenal earned media reach that then translates into subscriptions. So, very, very good, and probably gave, the competitors a bit of a headache. It's because, again, it is very simple, but it is very hard to make a laundry detergent sexy or humorous or create great impact for a laundry detergent. And to be able to integrate your brand into a flagship program like Super Bowl, which we know is the most expensive media platform in the world, but to do it so simply in a way that caught all of the viewers out, because the viewers genuinely thought, funnily enough, they genuinely thought, oh my god, he doesn't realise he's got a massive stain. Can you imagine it, you know, happening in any country? It's a big deal, let alone the Super Bowl. And then the whole kind of reveal, the whole fact that the ad integration as part of the programming was just so phenomenally executed, and again, so on message, because it's like, yes, washing whiter. I mean, you can't get a more simple message, but you know, dramatized in such a way that got the whole nation talking about it. Really quite incredible. And again, the robust, you know, 22% increase in sales, and all properly, because P&G, you know, don't waste time. They evaluate the effectiveness of their marketing all the time. That is obviously what they want to do more of, creating more of a differentiating brand personality for the brands within their portfolio. So we thought that was really worthy of recognition. And on to our friends from Australia. I'm sure you're all very familiar with the Snickers brand. I mean, that's also what made this, I suppose, easier to judge, potentially, was the familiarity and the continuity of brand message. I mean, the Snickers activity really is very consistent around the world, which also was something that we wanted to recognize. But the beauty of this idea is the real-time data nature of it. The fact that with this association with 7-Eleven, they actually could track consumer sentiment, consumer anger, and that would influence the price of a Snickers bar. And they literally changed the price of the bar, I think it was 3,000 or 5,000 times, you know, built on 3,000 word lexicon. The whole data informing the activity, but informing the price of the product, I think is it's absolutely on message in terms of, you know, you're not yourself when you're hungry, but also to track the anger within the country to get a cheaper Snickers to obviously satisfy your hunger. We talk a lot now in media about data fueling better in-flight optimization and also better dynamic creative. And that again is obviously the sweet spot of our industry. So we really needed to recognize this, because it's almost like if you're not doing this as a brand, then you're not actually properly leveraging the data and technology that's available to you. Every brand should be able to track data feeds, you know, have all the relevant incoming to ascertain what the data feeds are that you want to track first, and then make sure that your activity is dynamically changing as a result of that, and particularly now creative formats. I was having a conversation earlier this morning actually with McDonald's about that very thing, you know, using loads and loads of different creative formats and making sure that you have like the real-time optimization engine going every minute of the day in pretty much every country. So that's what the new kind of media planning looks like. So we thought we best, you know, recognize it here. So this we thought was particularly smart. In a way, it's we referred to this in terms of the brand awareness of The Crown program by Netflix as very solid integrated media planning, but very relevant creative formats, you know, right place, right time, right message. And to be honest with you, Netflix had quite a few entries for a whole breadth and depth of programming. Their marketing is actually quite exceptional, so it's worth a bit more of a look. But they're almost changing the rules of program awareness and building rapid awareness. And this was in Singapore, particularly picking up on The Crown and you know, what the Queen likes, what the Queen doesn't like. So again, the demand of varied creative treatments to be able to raise desire
to actually watch The Crown in the first place. But very good, solid, integrated media planning in that case study.